Ready? Cornhole with Smooth, bringing the community together, one bag at a time. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? This is Jay Smooth, and that is
Dr. Nick.
And this is Cornhole with Smooth, the podcast. Today we have some special guests here at the shop. We have the queens of Cornhole, two ladies that everybody know in the area. I mean, they're behind a lot of the big events in the area, like, Ballpark Village, Newtown Throwdown. I mean, there's so many things I can name that they do. They just do it all. We have Jen Jones.
Hi there.
And Jen Lewis.
Howdy.
And thank you for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Let's go. So, first questions I got for you guys is just tell me a little bit about yourselves.
I'm Jenny Jones, for those of you that don't know me. I'm married to Ken. Most of you know Ken. We've been married for 32 years, coming up in September. I've been together for almost 37.
Wow.
We have awesome. Two children, Gabriel and Cameron. Gabriel is 27, lives in Pittsburgh, and Cameron will be 25 in December, and he still lives at home, but 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. So we're almost empty nesters. I work full-time at a private healthcare clinic during the day. Ken runs Cool Shades during the day here at the shop, and we run cornhole tournaments together in the evening.
Awesome. So, Jen Lewis, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Jen Lewis. Also married, not quite as long, only 11 years. We've been together for 17.
There you go.
Our kids are 24.
Awesome.
And one of them made us a grandparents last year.
Congratulations.
I'm a Mimi.
Wow.
Congratulations on that. Congratulations. Yes.
I don't think I'm going to be an empty nester anytime soon because my daughter's not going anywhere.
Awesome. So I want to learn more about how did you get into cornhole? What was that beginning for you?
For me, it started just like everybody else, playing in your backyard with your friends, your family, your neighbors. We would play so much that we would create ruts in the yard because we would play so much. And of course, our first boards were the cheapo depot ones from Dick's Sporting Goods.
Acts like a trampoline.
And we thought we were so cool back then. But we would literally do ruts in the yard and we'd be playing in mud. And that's where the idea came from of building the main court in our backyard.
Okay.
And it just evolved over time. And from there, I can remember thinking that Matt Guy is definitely the king of cornhole. Yes. He will always, in my mind, be the king of cornhole.
Oh, for sure.
And I friended him on Facebook, not thinking in a million years that he would accept my friend request because we had no common friends at all. I was just getting into cornhole, and he accepted my friend request. And I thought I was like the bomb. Matt Guy accepted my friend request.
That's awesome.
And I took a picture of our backyard court, the one with the lights. We just had one at the time. And I posted on his Facebook page and I said, this is our view for the evening. What does yours look like? And my little pea brain at the time, it kind of went semi-viral because I had not seen anybody else having that type of setup in their backyard. Not that there wasn't.
Sure.
But I hadn't seen anything like that before.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I posted on his page and he responded. Brian Jones responded.
Wow.
And that's how I met Brian Jones and got involved with him and Jerry and Seinfeld and Brian O'Toole all came over the house and played one night until like 3:00 in the morning. And that's how it kind of snowballed for me.
Wow, love that. And how about for you?
So I'm a little more spoiled.
Yeah.
So my daughter and Jen's son were friends in high school and they were in a play together and we were all at this nice little play watching and everything. After the play was over, we all went our separate ways. The kids went to get ice cream. Lester and I were trying to figure out what we were going to do for the evening. It was Friday evening. Stop at the gas station. I'm sitting in the truck waiting for him to come back thinking we're going to a movie or something, right? He comes back and he gets in the truck and he goes, hey, I just ran into Ken when I went into the Quick Trip there. I'm like, oh, yeah? Cool. He goes, you want to go play cornhole at their house? And I went, what
What is that?
Right, what is that?
What is that?
And he goes,
Right.
bean bags for adults. I was like, he goes, I said, okay. He goes, if we hate it, we can just leave. We don't have to stay very long. All right. Cameron came home 12:30, 1 o'clock. We're still in the
We're still in
backyard,
the
playing
backyard
cornhole.
Wow.
He comes out and he goes, what are you doing here? I just dropped Beck off at your house. And that became our weekend.
Mhm.
Every weekend.
Every weekend.
We played on a good main court. We played with good boards and good bags. So I didn't have any idea about those Dick's Sporting Good boards and bags.
Wow.
So the first time I went someplace and didn't have two-sided bags, I was like, what the hell is this?
Right. Wow, you were spoiled.
I was
Yeah.
way spoiled.
Really spoiled. You started off with the good stuff.
Oh, I
right?
totally did.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, so Jen, so how did Darlene Perry come about? Darlene Perry Cornhole.
Darn Prairie Cornhole
Yes.
came about when we took that next step and met Brian Jones and Jerry. That was the first step for us. With them coming over and they're like, hey, listen, there's nobody doing this in St. Charles County.
Wow.
You guys really should think about creating a group and doing this. I started with them, getting the idea from them, and just kind of ran with it and said, okay, if we're going to do this, Ken, you got to build me some boards.
Wow.
So we made the investment. Ken built all of our boards. I invested in bags because at that time with the ACO, everybody used the same bags.
Oh, really?
Everybody.
Oh.
So I had to supply bags and boards, and it just kind of took off from there. The American Cornhole Organization at the time did made a video of our backyard called Cornhole in Backyard America.
Really?
It's still out there on YouTube if
Awesome.
you
I
want to
didn't
go
realize
watch
that.
it.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I didn't know
That's
that
so
at all.
cool.
That's awesome.
It's very
Yeah.
cool. We thought we made it big time with that. But yeah, it was a lot. And it just kind of organically started from there. We were the first ones in St. Charles County, really in the St. Louis area,
Yeah.
period, besides Brian Jones.
Well, and honestly,
start
it
running.
was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time, you guys were pioneers through that. So that's super exciting.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
very cool.
exciting. Yeah.
I feel honored and privileged to have that
Love that.
background.
You should. You should. You should.
Let's see. So, whenever it comes to not just running your own tournaments, what does it look like with you guys helping out other organizations? And what are some of the things that come to mind for you with that?
How we started running, you're talking about fundraisers and things like that.
Yeah,
That just
all the
kind of
above.
happened organically also. New Melly Sports and Rec actually gave me my first real quote unquote job. And it was running their league when we started their league 7 years ago. I think it was 7 years
I think
ago.
so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they were the first group to let me come in and run something. And then from there, I think my first official pay that I charged for was Immaculate Conception of Darden Prairie had me come run a tournament during their festival.
Very
And then from there, just kind of word kind of spread and it just kind of snowballed from
all of
there.
a sudden, like, hey, I do this now.
Yeah, exactly. It just kind of organically happened.
Love
Wow.
that.
Wow. Wow. So I know one of my first ACO regionals was actually at the St. Louis Mills Mall. What was the name of the Sportsplex, right? Sports Complex?
Powerplex.
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 Mhm.
So
Yep, I remember being
and-
out there.
I didn't know about regionals and things like that, but I knew you guys ran regionals. So like, how did you guys get started with running regionals in the area? Because that's big time.
Also, Brian Jones and Jerry
Right.
Wilford.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take this one because
yeah.
we were started wanting to run ACO
Right, we did.
regionals.
Oh.
So Lester and I started playing ACO shortly after we went to our first tournament and had so much fun. And we went to all Brian Jones's regionals. And Jen was a CO already, but hadn't really run anything. And Brian Jones helped us. We bought our membership through Jen, but we all had to figure out how that was going to work
Yeah.
because she hadn't done it before. And so we wanted to do ACO regionals, and we were in the process of trying to do that and get a venue and all that stuff.
And venues are the
And they're
hardest, thing to find.
They are.
So my first one was at game time.
And it was outside.
Outside.
Oh,
It was
wow.
windy AF.
Yeah.
And it was horrible. It was horrible.
Right.
Wow.
We've all been to a tournament.
And
like
it was
that.
so small because the weekend we picked, there was something going on in Kansas City, and a lot of our local people went to Kansas City, and we just didn't get a bunch of people. It wasn't too long after that, though, that Jerry Wolford approached Jen about helping him get ACL started in the St. Louis area because they had decided to bring an ACL national to St. Louis that year.
Wow.
And he's like, we don't have ACL, so we need to get our people playing ACL, so everybody wants to go to this national.
Mm-hmm.
So we started out doing some locals at the Cave Springs Bowling Alley.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started, playing and stuff. And Lester and I signed up for the ACL. I was like, what's ACL?
What's
ACL. We signed up, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I remember one morning getting a text message. I woke up to this text message from Jerry Wolford saying, hey, would you be interested in helping us run ACL regionals in the area? And I went, what do you mean? Like, what do you need? Like, what kind of commitment are we talking about? Like, I had no idea what I brought to the table at that time.
Okay.
And so he's like, well, Jen Jones recommended you. And he goes, we're going to be a team. And so I was like, let me check with my husband first. And so I did, and we started doing it, and we very quickly found whose niche was what, right? I was the registration queen and the organization and the background person, and we figured out the brackets together, and we kept things moving. And Jerry was the one out finding the venues and getting those deals
Ken and
set
I
up.
and Jen and Lester were set
we
up.
We would set up all the boards, and then Wally started doing his live streaming because first year it was me and Jen and Jerry and Wally. We were the four that started ACL in St. Louis.
Amazing.
Our first one was at Olympiad. It's now called the Steel House
well, it used to be an old steel mill or something.
Yeah.
And then it was they had big volleyball stuff out there. And then, we ran a couple of, our first one was at that.
Not at Kokomo Joe's.
Yes, it was. That was the first one.
Really?
Yes.
I thought Olympiad was our first one.
We had our first one at Kokomo Joe's, and we moved to Olympiad because Kokomo Joe's did not have enough space for us. That first day, we had no idea what kind of turnout we were going to get.
And it was huge.
And we had people lined out the door, and we're signing them up for ACL and creating their profiles as they're checking in. Oh my God, it was crazy. But it
was a lot of fun.
It was
we
so
were there
fun,
from 5 o'clock in the morning, I think. We were at the pancake place.
Yeah, Denny's. We went to Denny's
for
first.
breakfast at 5 a.m.
Okay.
Got there so early in the morning, and I don't think we left there until it was well after 11.
Oh, it was so late.
It
And
was
we
a
had been there the
long
night
day.
before setting up.
Mhm.
We didn't have to set up that morning. We set up the night before, but we had so many more people than we expected. It was just huge. We're like, okay, this place isn't big enough.
Yeah.
And
So I took a break from ACO
right.
because ACL was
Taking
taking
off.
up all of our
Right.
time.
Right.
So I took a break from ACO. And then once Jerry said, I'm done with ACL, then we picked up ACO again. And we've been doing ACO for about 5 years.
Yeah, wow. Nick, so we're hearing a lot of history right here. That
Man,
we did
I'm
not
blown
know
away.
about.
I am
And
like,
there's some names that's coming up. So I'm going to give some shouts out to Wally, Brian
Okay.
Jones, and Jerry Wolford, because that's huge. We did not know about this history. That's stuff that we are like amazed by, because it's like, wow, I didn't even know you guys did ACL.
A lot of people don't because they weren't playing then.
Yeah. Awesome.
it's exciting to see too, because we want to be able to tell that story.
Exactly.
That cornhole story. And so being just such a foundational rock of that is just absolutely awesome.
We've been in it since the grassroots effort for sure.
I feel like if it's in the St. Louis area and it's big, we've probably been
touched
involved in some way.
Same shape or form.
Absolutely.
Queens of Cornhole right here.
Yeah.
I don't hate that name.
No,
I'm digging it.
I love it.
So I do want you to tell me about, especially like getting these regionals going, just a moment that was like most rewarding that kind of like jumped out to you that maybe stuck out for either of you.
For as long as we've been doing this, there are so many that I can think of. There's really, truly for me, there's not just one. There's many. A few that pop into my brain is our first tournament that we went to with Brian Jones at the casino.
So fun.
Lester and I were like, we're going to go puke in the bathroom because we were so nervous.
What's wrong with you guys?
Ken was nervous,
normal.
but we had so much fun. And afterwards, we were invited back to, was it Brad Tucker's?
No, it was
Whose
Kevin
barn was-
Goss's
Kevin Goss'
dad's
dad's.
barn.
Oh wow.
Okay.
We all got invited over there and played until like 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
The cornhole
The Cornhole
underground.
Underground. It was so much fun. Met so many people that are still in the
Very cool.
game today. Willie, Jen,
Kyle Anderson.
Kyle Anderson,
Okay.
Matt Rannick. I mean,
Mhm.
all these people that are still in the game today.
Yes.
I very much consider friends.
Those are some beloved names for sure.
Yeah,
It is. It
absolutely.
is.
That's one that stands out. We went to one at Dewdrop Inn for
On my
Jen's birthday.
birthday.
It was Jen's
Okay.
birthday.
And it was snowing like crazy.
But it got worse because there
It
was an
did.
ice storm, and we're like in East Bufu, Illinois, and
Literally
it's
out in the middle of
icing.
It is,
nowhere.
And we're like, we have no idea where we are, and it's icing. But Ken and I took second, so that was like our second
Let's go.
tournament.
Nice.
So we were very happy
I
about
didn't
that.
do so good. I was doing shots.
Yes.
The shot queen.
Shot
No.
queen. Shot queen.
Imagine that.
Yes.
Actually, that was the night I learned I was the shot queen.
Nice.
Probably.
The birth.
It was.
Love the shot queen.
Because
Love
I
the
did
shot
so
queen.
many shots, and people are like, "How are you still standing up?"
Wow.
I know I'm just doing the shots, and we're good.
You heard it from the source.
That's where Dewdrop Inn is where it started.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Some other ones for me besides that one was we went to, again, in Illinois, because that was really the only place to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, we had to go over there all
Over
the
to
time.
Illinois all the time to play was St. Patrick's Day. It
So
was a
fun.
blind draw, and I got Justin, I must say his last name wrong, Kruckenberg.
Kruckenberg.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
Justin, and he was mad that he got me.
A girl.
He got a
didn't
girl.
know.
Uh-uh.
And he didn't know that I could throw,
Yeah.
but he was mad.
Wow.
And after we started playing a few, he's like, you know what? I'm really sorry. I judged the book by its cover
Wow.
before you even threw. He says, I will never do that again. We ended up in king and queen seat, but then I choked and we took second. We got double
Well,
dipped. But it was so much
Anytime
fun.
that you get there, that's a
That's
beautiful
right.
thing.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
That's
So-
where I got my first 12.
Was
Nice.
it?
Okay. All right.
Nice. So, just for both of you guys, ladies, I'm sorry. What's some difficult things you guys have run into, like when you've been throwing like the regionals or tournaments? Is there any kind of issues that you guys run into, like on a common, theme that comes up a lot for you guys?
Finding a venue is always the hardest. Like,
Okay.
it's been so great since Jen and Ken got the shop where we can set up 5 sets of boards. We can actually run a regional here for ACO.
Yes.
Now, the kind of regionals we used to run way back when with
Yes.
hundreds of people, we
Yeah.
couldn't do.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But
Couldn't
they've
do
gotten
that.
smaller because there's more COs and people
Yeah.
spread out a little bit more. But venues was always the struggle
Okay.
because you had to convince them that you were worth their time because
Mm.
most of the venues wanted you to come in and pay for their venue. Well, you can't afford to pay for the venue unless you're
You pay more for your
because
players.
you're
and
paying
your
to
players
run the
won't
event
come.
for
Mhm.
the league that you're, ACO charges us to run it.
That's true.
ACL the same. They charge. So that was one of the biggest struggles was venues, trying to find
okay.
a venue that wanted to work with you.
I'd like to add a question on top of that. So speaking of like places expecting you to pay and those kind of things, what kind of percentage would you say 50-50 or something different than that of places that actually allowed you to be there for free just based off of maybe alcohol sales or whatever it might be? and then
I can
places
answer
you
that
had
question
to-
because
that you
I
had to
was
pay?
dubbed to
Yeah.
find the venue.
Uh-huh.
So when I approached the venue, my speech to them was, I'm not paying for a venue.
Wow.
It's a 3-legged stool.
Okay.
You get something, the venue, you get food, all your food and beverage sales. The players get something because I don't have to charge them more.
Yep.
And they have a good, dry, air-conditioned or heated place to play.
Yep.
And then we get a place to play
Sure.
that we get to come in. So,
And that's how that tripod stands up.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
yep.
Wow, I love that.
And
I love
it
that.
really worked.
That's awesome.
For me, the hardest thing is more recently is having those difficult conversations with
Yeah.
players that don't act a certain way.
Yeah.
I'm not a confrontational person.
No.
If I come
Yeah.
to, I think it's funny now when I look at someone, I go, come here, let me talk to you. They're like, oh no, Mama Jones,
Yeah.
what I do, why am I in trouble?
Yeah.
Like, you're not always in trouble. But there are a few conversations that I've had to have with people that are very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I don't like having those conversations. We're all adults.
Yep.
I like to say, mind your P's and Q's.
Yep.
If you don't know what that means, Google it because it's a perfect
Yeah.
definition of what mind your P's and Q's mean. And don't make me have those difficult conversations.
Yeah.
Also for me, most difficult is when I would go and talk with a potential client for running a fundraiser or running something out of their Legion or VFW. Most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, I would talk to men.
Oh, yeah.
And
Sure.
Ken would come with me.
Yeah.
And they would talk to him
Oh, wow.
and not me.
And you're the one
And
running
it's
this
me.
thing.
I'm running
Yeah.
it, not him.
Right.
So there's many times that he would look at me and go, I'm out.
Yeah.
And he would just literally walk away
Right.
and get out of the conversation
This is-
because they would not direct their questions to me. So to me, that's been
crazy to
two
say.
things that are difficult.
Yeah, I remember going to one venue with you. It was just
Yes,
you and I.
we did a presentation.
We did a presentation and we didn't get the spot. And
Mm-mm.
to this
Wow.
day, we think it was because we were women
Yeah.
there together dealing with a committee of men,
Men.
who didn't take us
Well,
seriously.
and unfortunately, probably who did win didn't prepare. a
Nobody
speech
ever
and-
did.
Oh, nobody ever did.
Yeah,
They
right.
never had
Yeah.
cornhole
They
in
never
there.
had cornhole
Yeah.
there.
Exactly.
To this day, they've never had cornhole.
Yeah,
I think
and
it's a big
I think it
mistake.
would have been
Yeah.
great for
I do
them.
too.
Well, and their loss.
They're
You
still
know?
Absolutely. Yeah,
The
we
same
were
thing here, so-
we were in between. We were trying to find a spot for Thursday nights, and luckily, 18 North Central said, "Come on in."
Right.
Yeah.
And we were at 18 North Central for 3 years.
Mhm. That's where Cockamamie Cornhole was born.
That is where Cockamamie Cornhole was.
Well,
born.
and that's actually a perfect segue into where we're headed here next. So we're going to talk about past events and then events that are coming up for you guys. Yeah, please share some things that you guys are excited about. And,
One, I'm excited about the Jones Home Slider Cup coming up.
Yeah.
That's always a great time.
We are too.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's always a good time. If you don't know about Jones Home Slider Cup, just ask somebody around. They
Yeah.
can tell you all about it.
I'm gonna cut you off for a second.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you something Jerry said, and when we recorded with Jerry, we had him on the podcast. He calls it the baby Newtown Throwdown.
It is a baby Newtown
It kind of
Throwdown.
is,
I
yeah.
like
It
that.
is.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
like
It
that.
is epic. I
Yeah,
will say,
yeah,
since
yeah.
I can say that because I have been.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I will say that the Jones Home Slider Cup is a brainchild of Jerry's.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
wow.
his idea.
That was his idea.
Yep.
Mhm.
First year.
And the first year we did it, I was a captain, Brian Jones was a captain, Jerry was a captain, and Jen Lewis was
No.
a
It was so it was
You were
Jen-
supposed to
I was
be.
supposed to be. So it was supposed to be the four of us that were doing
Okay.
ACL. Me, Jen, Jerry, Wally.
Wow.
But I couldn't do it because I had another obligation.
Yes.
So,
Understood.
Brian Jones was a captain instead
Nice.
of me, and they were still great captains. I was there for the beginning of the day. I helped get set up, and
Set
I
up,
learned a
good to
lot
go.
about how it worked and everything. I missed the end when Jen's team won.
Oh, nice. So the first one you
Dang.
guys won?
Yeah.
first one, Dalton Perry Cornhole one.
Wow.
Look at that.
At the last, it was a tiebreaker game too.
Yeah, they had to do it.
It was a tiebreaker.
Even
That's
better.
Yeah.
That's
Yep,
even better.
it was a
Yeah.
crew cup tiebreaker, and we won.
And so then those captains picked captains for next year.
Okay.
And Jen picked me, and it was me and Brian O'Toole, Josh Dobelman, and
I can't remember.
having a hard time.
Yeah.
But after that year, we took it and we just ran with it. And if you've been, we've perfected it.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely.
This is year 7.
Yeah.
This
Very-
is year 7.
Most impressive, I do have to
Congratulations.
say. An
Congratulations.
absolute blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you call off work or call in sick and plan ahead and make it happen for sure. And if you don't mind, very quickly, if either of you would like to explain how the Slider Cup works a little bit, format-wise, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
So it's 4 captains. Each captain gets to pick 15 people to be on their team. So the captain plays. So it's a total of 16 people
4 teams.
on 4 teams.
Mhm.
They play singles, doubles, and crew cup.
Back up just a little bit.
Okay.
We do a
We do a live draft.
A live
Yeah.
snake
A live draft.
draft.
So yeah,
Yep.
all the players who are interested sign up, and then at like a month before the thing, we do a live draft on Facebook, and we do the whole back and forth. So this person's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. Right.
Oh, okay.
They build their teams, and then the day of the event in singles, it's 16 mini brackets. Everybody gets 1 through 4. 1 through 4, and each of those places gets you so many points for your team.
Okay.
But
For
the
d-
captains pick who plays.
Yeah. So like
So
they come
have
up
the
and do
strategy
Right.
of picking who they're going to play.
What a fun dynamic.
Yeah. So they come up
Yeah.
that day and they go, okay, the first person puts up a name and then the second person goes, ooh, I put up that person against them. And then
Okay.
it goes back and forth like a snake draft again.
Oh, that
So
makes
if you
sense.
were the 1 or the 4, you sometimes sacrifice somebody, but then the other time you get, oh, I know everybody in that bracket who can beat them from my team, right?
Yeah.
So we build all those brackets. You get those points. The same thing for doubles. And we don't do the doubles teams and matchups until after singles is pretty much close to being over. That way you have the opportunity to see how your players are playing that day. If you want to re-strategize and
Okay.
redo
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
same thing for crew cup. When doubles is about over, we're building the crew cup setups. So the captains actually have a lot of
I
responsibility
see.
on the day of the event to
Yeah.
keep, those teams moving and that kind of thing. It's really fun. It's really interesting.
It's definitely a marathon,
yeah.
not a race.
Yep.
Not a race.
Not a
Yeah.
sprint at all.
Nope.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Drink a beer. Drink a water.
Great advice.
Drink a water. Drink a beer.
Mhm.
But yeah, my backyard or our backyard is a sea of tents.
Yeah.
There's probably the grass sees no sunlight during that day except for where the boards are. And they hang out in the pool. Everybody brings something to eat. My
Okay.
living room and kitchen and dining room are just full of food. You will not go hungry at Slider Cups.
So
Nope.
true.
And it's an all-day event. So if you can find a carpool or someone to pick you up and drop you off,
Wow.
that is definitely recommended.
Wow.
I heard somebody say the other day, where else can you be hanging out in the pool, watching a game and jump out and go play and then get back back in the
I've
pool?
literally done that. there.
So you got experience doing that.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
literally, for sure. And I actually want to add a point onto that and ask a question. So is it like 2 minutes that this thing actually fills up whenever the
Typically,
the
yes.
registration
I
goes
mean,
live?
last year was,
A minute and 45 seconds.
yeah, it
I mean,
was.
that's
This
pretty
year-
impressive.
This year was a little
5
long.
minutes. It was
Yeah.
a little slower this year. I don't
Little
know what
slower
happened.
this year.
That's
No.
crazy.
I think because you didn't let them autofill. their
That is
first
probably
and
why
last.
you're
You
right.
could not autofill. That is true.
Usually you could, and I took away the autofill to try to even out
Even out
everybody had
the
to type
I had
out
the
there.
opportunity.
thumbs going. That did not stop me.
Yeah, I think that slowed it down a little
You know,
bit.
you're
But this
right. I
year
didn't
was
think
a
about
little
that. I
less
didn't
than
take
5
away the
minutes.
autofill.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems long because it seems like, man, it's like
It is.
magic.
It goes quick.
And if you are, to all you out there, if you are on the wait list, don't fret.
Yeah, people
People
Things
drop
happen
all the
Yeah.
time.
People drop. So I spoke about Ballpark Village and Newtown Throwdown. Can you guys give me a little bit of background of what you guys been doing? Because I know you guys been working with Brian and Jerry for years with this, and I know Jerry said that's something that you guys always work together with both events with Brian Jones. Can you guys give us a little bit of background with Ballpark Village in Newtown?
Yeah, where do we start? We were asked to help, and we both jumped in and said, whatever you guys need.
Right.
So it's kind of evolved over the years. But Jen and her master of spreadsheets, this girl is
Absolutely.
amazing.
That's awesome.
When it comes to
That's awesome.
spreadsheets,
Yeah.
she keeps me so organized.
Nice.
But yeah, Jen and I are basically registration the day of. Before you do more behind the scenes as the events are coming up.
Right.
If you want to add to that.
Yeah. For Newtown Throwdown, I would say from the time that the registration goes live to the day that we run it, I work on it every day
Oh, wow.
because I'm always looking at the registration list to see who we don't have Scoreholio information for and whose team name is a duplicate. I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
always,
Yeah.
so I'm back and forth with Jerry constantly and with players and working the wait list and all that stuff. I do some of that with Brian Jones and Ballpark Village too, but it's only 120 teams. He handles a lot of that.
Okay.
People contact him regularly. I'm like, I built the registration. I built the spreadsheet. It's there for him to work. There are still a few teams for this one coming up that we don't have Scoreholio information for. Some people we don't even have
Ooh.
partners for. So I'll be
Need that
working those
info.
this next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
But
Good info, yeah.
Yeah, right on. I had a question about that. So, once you get these big player lists and everything in, and you say, okay, well, we believe that everybody is confirmed. Is it like, okay, time to make bracket and see what that starts looking like, or what does that process look like for you?
So Scoreholio allows you to import from a spreadsheet. So because I am the spreadsheet queen,
She is.
I create an
Perfect
export from my
transition.
spreadsheet and I load it into Scoreholio that way. So for Ballpark Village, we don't usually do it until right before
Because so many
So many
things
people
never know what's gonna
change.
happen.
Absolutely.
So I usually do it, a couple days before people get the notifications that they've been loaded in. And then we do self check-in that morning so that they don't have to come up and see us. The same thing for Newtown Throwdown. I usually load those brackets, the players and teams in like just about that week before, like just a few days, they get their notifications, and we do self check-in that morning. But we don't actually build the bracket until everyone is checked in that morning. So when I'm sending those messages that says click self check-in, I'm waiting for you to do that, because if you're not here, I'm not
I'm
not
putting you in
gonna
the
put you
bracket,
in.
Redraw
right?
after redraw.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I've automated a lot of it, but there's still a lot of work that has to be done. The players have to do their part by clicking their button when
Right.
it comes
That's
through.
true. Yeah.
The more people that have to come talk to me, the longer it takes us to get ready.
Yeah.
So the more questions we can answer beforehand, the more problems we can fix
Yeah.
beforehand, the better off we are. Because that's a big day.
Yeah.
If we sell out, it's 400 plus teams.
Yeah.
Well, and I'd add on top of that, there needs to be some level of respect just in general. And it also goes back to how we act whenever we're in those environments and, watching P's and Q's and all that. And so I think, everybody deserves to have that level of respect.
Most definitely. I just want to say thank you to you ladies, because we wouldn't be planning those type of events, and it's organized as well as it is that you guys do, because we come in, all we got to do is throw.
Right.
And you guys are running the tournament, and behind the scenes, what you guys are telling us what you be doing, it's a lot of work behind it. You guys do a wonderful job. So I just want to say thank you to you ladies for that.
Well, it is a labor of love.
It is.
And we are a
You have
great
passion.
team. We are a
Oh,
great
absolutely.
team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I echo that as well. And,
Yeah, we all have
Super
our
appreciative.
niche, and we all know what is required and what we all have to do, and
Right.
we just dig in and do it. No
Mhm.
question. I mean, we
Yeah.
bounce things off of each other all the time.
Yeah.
What I love about working with Jen is we don't have to
Even
I can
speak
get
sometimes.
I can get up and walk away, and she knows what I've been doing, and she can get up, and I know what she's been doing, and we seamlessly go back and forth. Now we work with other directors, and we can pass it off, and it's fine. But we've been doing it together for so long that we anticipate each other's needs, right? And
you guys are organically, you have the same type of vibes anyway. So like you guys work, you can just bounce off each other.
we do
It's just like me and Nick.
Right.
It's just like
100%.
it's natural, right? So we don't
Right.
have to. We can just look at each other. Say, okay, we can do this and do that, or whatever the case may be. But that's the type of team member that you want.
For
Somebody
sure.
that you're a friend and also somebody you can work with daily. So we love it about you guys. We know you guys are the greatest.
Oh, for sure. Well, and having that type of connection and camaraderie together, thinking about the labor of love and, being in the community. So speaking of community, what are some of the most memorable moments, or I'm sure there's tons, but, what are some that maybe come to mind for either of you that whenever we're thinking about just the community as a whole, I think?
For me, it is probably players who are passing through town, driving to another tournament, that they'll stop at ours and come play. And one that sticks out in my mind is Dayton Weber. And that whole group stopped and played at 18 North Central with us. And just to see him, I've never seen him play live. I've only seen him play on TV or on YouTube. But he is so inspirational to see him play. He's amazing.
Very cool.
So for me, that's probably one that sticks out the most.
Love that. How about for you?
So for me, I like trying new things, doing different things, doing something that's a little bit unusual. So there for a while, I don't know if anybody remembers that there was STL Lady Baggers was a group.
We remember.
It was
I
a thing.
definitely recall
Okay.
that, for sure.
Yeah.
We did an event, and of course, I was involved in helping with registration and
Imagine
all
that.
the organization. I imagine
Yeah.
that.
Figure, right?
But the brainchild was Megan Tyler, and she came up with the idea. But we had a ladies only event down at the
So
South
much
Broadway Athletic Club, and I don't remember how many ladies we had, but it was
A ton.
lot,
Wow.
a lot of
Okay.
ladies, and she had to build it all manually because she didn't want you to partner with the same lady or play against the same lady. And we did a switch before Scorholio had a switch.
Wow.
And we did it all manually. Brian Jones ran the actual tournament so that all of us ladies could play. But we had ladies that came in from out of state. Karen English came from Kentucky.
Wow.
Linda
Linda
Oglesby
came from Tennessee.
Wow.
Some big names, right? And then we had locals local wives of cornhole players who came to play with us too. Well, it was the longest day, but it was so awesome. We played 13 rounds of this switch thing.
Wow.
Okay, now
That is serious.
imagine these
Yeah.
ladies that don't play cornhole. Like, so after 13 rounds, I was exhausted,
No,
and
that's a
I played
marathon.
all the time then and didn't.
Yeah.
But these ladies that don't come play, they
Yeah.
were like getting exhausted. But we it was fun. I took second because it was all based on points to Karen English that day
Wow.
by
Wow.
1 point. She
And
scored
Karen
one
English
more
does.
point than me.
Yeah.
So that was really fun. But then it wasn't over.
No.
Then we did a
But
co-ed
wait,
event.
there's more.
There's more. Then we did a co-ed event,
Yeah.
and my husband had been waiting all day to play, and I'm exhausted. Like, I'm like, I don't want to play anymore. I'm
Yeah.
tired. He was throwing so good
Oh.
that I just couldn't quit. And we took like third or something.
Let's
And like it was a
go.
big
Yeah.
thing. Like we beat some
Yeah.
teams we
Yeah.
would not know. So it was a really fun day. The group, the atmosphere, the people. And there were a lot of guys there supporting us, just watching us
That's
play.
amazing.
And it was, we talk about it all the time. We want to do it
I want
again,
to do it again.
but it's
Yeah.
hard to find a date and get everybody to commit. And,
Yeah.
you know, and you don't want to, but it was fun just to have this ladies only thing. It was very
I
fun.
think you guys should do it again. I
Yeah.
think you should.
2.0
I think you
for
should.
sure.
Yeah.
Who's for it?
Let us know. You want to all
We
ladies
support it.
event?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We
support it.
certainly
We
do.
support it, church. So what's some advice you would give to someone who is new to the game?
I think both of our answers would be don't be discouraged.
Right.
Keep playing.
Playing.
Keep practicing. The more you come out and play, the more you play against better people, the better you're going to get. And
Yeah.
that's hard for new players because I understand that you come and you pay your money and you pay your money and you pay your money and you just keep losing.
Yeah.
But eventually you will see that pendulum swing the other way. And the more you play, the better you'll get, the more consistent you'll get. Not only that, but just the amazing people that you will meet
Right.
when you come
Yeah.
out and play.
Yeah.
Some of these people that I have met in Cornhole are lifelong friends.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
absolutely. Yep.
as Jerry said in your last podcast,
Yeah.
he can go anywhere in the United States and break down. I feel the same way.
That's awesome.
I can break down anywhere and be like, hey, Cornhole fam, where are you? I need some help.
Oh, I think I could do the same thing
Yeah.
because we've
Yeah.
met so many people traveling for ACO
That's awesome.
that
That is
like,
so cool.
I agree.
Yep, just
Um,
keep chugging.
I
Sure,
think
love
new
that.
people,
Yeah.
they need to, just like she said, they need to come out and not be discouraged.
Yeah.
And you have to throw against those people who are going to kick your butt in 2 rounds
That's
because
right,
those
totally
are the
agree.
people that are going to show you what you're
That's
doing
right.
wrong.
Yeah.
To think
That's
you
right.
can come out and immediately compete with some of these people and get frustrated when you don't, that's not going to
No,
work
it's not
for
gonna
you.
happen.
You
Yeah.
got to come
Yeah.
back. And
Yeah.
I mean, the first tournament I went to, Lester and I didn't, like, we went 0
Oh,
2.
we went 0-2 also.
We went in the toilet bowl. Now we did win the toilet bowl bracket, but
We've won one of them too.
B-Man and I have won one of those.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the toilet bowl bracket. I mean, it was
Yeah.
all about having fun.
It's about
Yeah,
having
it
fun
is.
and getting out there
Because
and
you will
doing
get humbled, right?
Oh,
Oh,
You will
absolutely.
most definitely
I
get
still get
humbled.
humble.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
well,
you get
I
humbled.
totally do because I don't play as much, but
Yeah, me
I've
too.
watched pro players throw all 4 of their bags off the
Oh,
board.
It can happen
It
to
happens
anybody.
to
It happens,
anybody.
yeah.
So,
It happens, yeah.
right.
When I'd also say, most of those people that you're talking about that you're playing against that are much better, most of those individuals are going to be the first ones helping
To help
you
you.
and trying to
That's
coach
right.
Absolutely.
That's
you,
right.
give you
Yeah.
advice to make you better as quickly as
Mhm.
possible.
Yeah.
And they're also usually very supportive and
Absolutely.
loving.
100%.
It's such a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
And I know personally, I don't remember exactly how long it took, whether it was 6 months or 9 months or whatever, but I was doing the same thing. And I went from playing twice a week to up to playing 4 or 5 and even 6 times a week
Yeah.
for long periods of time.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I got to see that transformation whenever I started playing at least twice a week and more.
Right.
My game started to
That's
develop
right.
and I
Mhm.
started to figure it out. And then all of a sudden you take a 3rd place or a 2nd place
Yeah.
and you get onto the podium. And then that for me was like when that fire was lit and it's like, okay,
Absolutely. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I can do this.
There
Most
was a
definitely.
time Lester and I played 7 days a week, and
Wow.
it wasn't unusual for us to find 8 tournaments to do. So like on a Saturday or Sunday, we'd play a morning one and an evening one.
Yeah, right.
And I'd change clothes in
yeah.
the car because
Sure.
I'd been outside for 4 hours.
Right.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Love
You
that.
do have to stay at it, and practice and things like that. Because I know when I first started, I had no idea. Jen was telling me, you'll get there. You always tell me
You'll get there. You'll just keep
And
chugging.
just keep chugging. And
Yeah.
you see podiums and
Mhm.
winning at majors and all kind of stuff like that. That's big time. But like you said, just keep at it. Just keep at it. Because anybody can win at any time, right? 'Cause you
Mhm.
And don't get in your
Yeah,
head.
Yeah. You don't.
That's,
And
that's
it was probably 2-3 years ago. Jay, you and I
Yeah.
were out in
Was it Cottonville?
Cottleville,
Cottonville, yeah.
Cornhole
yeah,
out there.
yeah,
Yep. And we ended up podium out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
and that was an absolute blast. But I would say that was earlier on for us.
Yeah.
that was when you first started.
First started.
Yeah.
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 First started.
Might
Had
have been
no
one of the
idea.
first. Might have been one of the first podiums.
The first one.
No, we tell the folks how you and I met.
So
I'm have a question
Love
for
that.
you.
Love that.
so like in 2021.
I'm sorry.
2021.
Wait, you knew her before my kid was born?
Yeah, so I went to Silver Creek in Belleville one night and just going up there to have a drink, and I see some guys out there throwing bags. I had no idea what they was doing or whatever, and they were just out there playing. So I played one time, and I went back home and like, I kind of like this, but I don't know anybody, right?
Mhm.
So
Sure.
I went on Google, Cornhole in St. Louis, and guess who came up? Darlene Perry Cornhole. So I sent a message on Facebook to Jen, and we talked for about an hour. I'm asking all kind of questions. How can I get into it and things like that. She gave me a rundown, gave me some advice, and we've been friends ever since.
Mhm.
And I always would tell you, I truly appreciate you for that. You are the reason where I'm at now.
Love it.
I've started my own brand now. I have my own
See, look how
podcast.
look
Cornhole
where you
podcast.
are.
Everything.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
all because of you.
I love it.
There's not much in this area that doesn't start with Brian Jones, Jerry Wolford,
That's right.
Jen
Jen
Jones.
That's right.
Well said.
Well said.
Yeah, for sure.
Well said. So no, I
For sure.
totally owe all that to you for even giving me the blueprint of even how to throw and where to throw and things like that. So I always tell you thank you. So I appreciate
Absolutely.
you. I
Anything you
appreciate
need, you let
Yeah.
me know. I'm there to help.
Always.
So I want to share an example of advice that was given to me that I'll never forget. And R.I.P. Dunk.
Yes, Larry Dunn.
Yep. So he was the one. So I used to play with Dunk in Mascoota whenever Craig Karen was out there
Yeah.
running his Sunday
those.
fun days?
Yep,
Yeah.
running those out
I
there.
never made it to one of those. I wanted to.
Yep, pretty cool little spot out there.
Hi, Craig.
What's going on, Craig?
Right. And so every time that we were there, we just always kind of magnetic to each other.
Oh,
Would
yeah.
be talking, cutting up. And so we would always warm up together. And, he would always tell me, whenever you are just practicing, unless you're trying to hit a certain shot or something, always shoot the 4th bag airmail.
Yeah, man.
And I have to say, to this day, it completely changed my airmail game. And that's why B-Man has the airmail game that he has for the exact same reason. So I wanted to ask you two both the same question: is what is a piece of advice that you've been given from somebody that stuck with you?
Well, I will sort of piggyback on what you said just to get this in. Is when we would play, anytime we would play, we would always end the night with an airmail game.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how our airmails got.
Nice.
Four of
Love
us
that.
used to-
Nice.
Yeah.
But for me, the best advice, obviously, is from Brian Jones. He told me a long time ago when I would get frustrated with things on how something was going, he would just say, Jen, just keep doing you.
Oh,
Just
wow.
keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen to the noise. Don't listen to the, not complaints. I mean,
Sure.
I do get quote unquote complaints, but there a lot of the complaints that I get are things that I can't do anything about.
Sure. Right.
So in that regard, don't listen to the noise.
Yeah.
Just keep doing you. You know you're doing right by the players, and that's all you can do. Just keep on chugging.
Keep on chugging.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I
100%.
love it.
How about for you, Jim Lewis?
I think for me, it's just that knowledge, and I don't remember who said it to me, but like her, if players are complaining or they're upset about this, they're upset about that. You can't make everybody happy.
Mm.
It doesn't matter what you do. You're not
Yeah.
going to make everybody happy. So you got to do what's
Do your
right, do the
Mhm.
best you can, be honest with everybody, be open about, how things are
Mhm.
going.
Yeah, I
And
think
just
it's
know,
just piggyback on that. It's funny that chair when you're not sitting in that chair over there on a Wednesday or a Friday, it's like a revolving chair. They all come, the players come and they sit with me for 5-10 minutes
wow.
and chit chat and ask me questions.
Yeah.
in
I'm
my
like,
chair,
I'm an
they sit in my
in your
chair.
chair when you're not there. I'm an open book.
You're not supposed to sit in my chair.
You want to ask me a question? Pull up the
Yeah.
seat.
Same.
I'll be
Love
happy
I'll tell
to
you. Right.
tell you anything you want to know.
Love that.
Exactly.
What is your favorite bag to throw and why?
Oh, I think always I will be a Viper girl.
Viper girl.
The Viper was my bag when I actually threw all the time.
Series
The-
4.
Ooh.
I
it
think
was
you were a series
early.
4. You were
Yeah.
early series.
Early
I think yours
series.
are series 4. Like my pink ones were series 4.
And I
Nice.
still have them, but they are floppy.
So floppy. Me
AF.
too. I have mine as well, but they are so.
Yeah, I think I will always be a Viper girl.
Yeah. Right on.
Wow, that's
Those
awesome.
were my bags too. But because I play ACO,
Mhm.
my bag now, I love the Arcane Mystical
Mystical?
because
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
closest
Good
to
bag.
that series Viper that I've ever thrown
Yeah.
anything else. Jen doesn't like it.
It's too fast for
It's too
me for
fast.
some
But
reason
it
now.
doesn't make sense to me because
I
the
know.
series Viper was the
Mhm.
same speed, so I don't get that.
I don't either.
But that's my bag because
Yeah.
to me that's the most like a series Viper that I've ever found.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I believe all of the series Vipers are just nasty.
awesome.
They are. They're awesome.
I went through a phase where I just could not get away from them. It's just amazing to me some of the things that I could do with those bags that I
Yes.
couldn't do for whatever reason that I couldn't do with those
Right.
bags.
That was actually a bag that me and you played with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to Cottyville and
Yep.
played with that because that was the first
That's
time I ever threw Vipers. And
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
right.
good bag. Really good bag. Yeah. Really good bag.
For sure.
Well, ladies, I want to thank you for being on the podcast today.
Thank
This
you
was an awesome
for having us.
time.
Yeah.
Awesome
It was fun.
time. It was. And before we leave, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors today: Iris in the City, Fade and Focus Gallery, TCM Products for men, beard, and facial products, Primrose Homes, Kinethia with official cornhole gear. We appreciate you. And High Roller Bag Company. Always love Matt. And this is another episode of Cornhole with Smooth, the podcast. I'm Jay Smooth, and that is,
Dr. Nick.
and we are out. Peace.
Peace.